Very long time.
It won't. It'll only let maybe the first couple of minutes, and then Lincoln cut us off. Oh,
There we
okay.
go.
I wonder how much of that has been on the video. 10 seconds. All right. Welcome to another amazing episode of Laquita's Toolbox Live. I am your host, Dr. Laquita Monley, y'all. And I want to thank y'all for coming on into the space. We'll hang out here for just a minute to get enough people to come on in the room because, look, y'all, I have a great guest in the studio with me today. You know, new look, new feel.
Yeah.
And my boy, Victor Vonico Johnson, you know, he done hit the road. Come have a conversation with your girl Vic. What's going on? How you doing?
We chilling, we live. Just the pop-up, right?
Right,
this is
it's the pop-up.
We just popping up on you, dropping some stuff on you. Come on in, tell your cousins, your mom and them, come on in, check it out. We got a couple little messages for you, and you know, you're never gonna go wrong with this group right here.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. For this is the dynamic duo over here
It
today.
is.
Like the dynamic duo. Vic, it has been, I don't even know. How long has it been since we did a live together?
Well, we started in 2019.
Yeah.
And I know we did at least a couple years.
Yeah,
you know,
so
at
we
least,
Create Your Future Self. We
Yeah.
did probably about 2.5 years.
Yeah, probably just over 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's been, what was that, 2022-ish?
Probably.
2021, probably at the lowest time.
Yeah.
So 4 years
Yes.
at least.
Wow.
It's all right. Got better, finer than wine over that
Listen,
time. You know
come
what
on.
I mean?
You know, get better with age, brother.
That's
Get
it.
better with age.
More wisdom, more experiences,
Yes.
more people to serve. You know?
That's it. And that's always been something that was really important to you, serving people, serving your community, serving those that are underprivileged. You do a lot of work with youth mentorship. So let's just dip into that a little bit because I know you're a speaker, you're a coach, you're an author, award-winning Toastmaster speaker. Come on, Doc. You got all of these great things that the Lord has been transitioning you into. But you consistently from the beginning had that passion to mentor young men. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Create Your Future Self Youth Program. And that is 2020 was the first summer that we did it. So go back to that. I was working in Dallas on a contract, a grant, and I got approved for the grant with Dallas Independent School District. Well, 10 or 11 days after I got that grant, pandemic happened. Schools shut down.
Yep.
Kids weren't in the schools. But I already had built something, you know, that was really good, the programming, the frequency, and what was going to be the impact of that program.
Right.
A couple months later, somebody else said, hey, you should submit that information to another grant, and I ended up getting a summer program grant to do a summer program.
Yeah.
And so this last summer, 2024, was our 5th year in a row doing the Create Your Future Self youth program, summer youth program. And listen, when I was 15 or 16, I had a single mom. My dad was in my life, but he was on another side of the country. We were just on phone call parenting, right? And my mom put me in this program called the Omega Boys Club out in San Francisco, California. And you're talking about Dr. Joseph Marshall. He's still running that program. He has sent hundreds of kids to college. He has done all kinds of things, getting guys out of gangs. And he would drive me from them Thursday night meetings in San Francisco as a 15-year-old all the way across town, an hour away, to drop me off at home at night. And I was like, man, why is this dude helping me so much? And because of that program, that was when my first speaking started.
Wow.
He would put me in the juvenile centers to go talk to some of my friends and classmates that got in trouble because they would only be in for a couple of weeks. And he's like, man, go in there, motivate them to come to the boys club when they get out. And that was my job at 15 to encourage people to come out of there and come up to the boys club.
Wow.
So this man poured into me, and when my opportunity came, it was like, I got to give back to these young people. They don't always have the right people around them. So if I've been blessed to do a few things and be in a better position, let me go back and grab some of these young men, some of these young women, and help them out.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
That's
It's it's our responsibility as adults. It's our responsibility as adults to be a blessing because that next year, you know, we oftentimes complain about what the younger generation is or isn't doing right, and they don't listen. But we didn't listen either all the time.
No, I
And
didn't.
sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm big mad, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah,
We're like,
exactly.
yeah, I did that.
And think of all the stuff they got access to now, all the
Yeah.
information. You don't know everything that they're watching.
Right.
So they need people like us to come
Right.
in and just be that consistency in there and teach them about character building and life skills and financial literacy and real
Yeah.
estate at an early age.
At an early age,
What if
yeah.
we got into real estate when we was in our late teens, 18, 19, 20 years old?
Listen.
I was almost 40 before I even thought about buying some real estate.
Yeah.
So if we can kind of steer them in the right direction and get them excited about that stuff, they probably won't be in the streets and acting crazy. You
And
know,
doing those things.
Absolutely.
You know, you said that, and it made me think about in our early 20s, we were presented with an opportunity to buy a duplex. But because we had no knowledge of that, we had no knowledge of that, right? We hadn't been mentored in it.
Right.
Yeah, even the people in our lives at that time that should have been mentoring us and weren't mentoring us in that, on how to make our money grow.
Right.
You know, not to say they were bad mentors, but financial literacy is such an important component to your life at a very young age that we had an opportunity to buy a VA foreclosed duplex that we lived in.
Yeah.
We lived in it.
Yeah.
It was occupied. We lived on one side. There was a neighbor on the other. The owner, I don't know the reason the owner wasn't paying their mortgage, but they weren't because we rented it through a rental company.
Right.
When the VA appraisers came out, we didn't even know it was in foreclosure. They came out one morning to do the appraisal and assessment of the property value.
So they can put it on the
and
market.
we still sitting there with the neighbor having morning coffee, like, who?
Wow.
First thing was like, who these white men?
Yeah.
Because that's what they doing in my house.
Somebody in trouble with a white man.
And they could tell by the way that we were looking at them that we were unaware of what was happening. So they came and they told us, and it was obvious that Ben was active duty and the gentleman next door was active duty.
Okay.
And they asked us, hey, well, y'all should buy this house.
Wow.
And if we would have known then what we know now,
Of course. Absolutely. Yeah.
we would have bought that house.
Yeah.
You know, so what you're doing with your youth mentorship program and how you're helping educate young men and helping to point them and push them in the right direction. The same way, you know, we always like to talk about pay it forward, where the gentleman that paid it forward to you,
Right.
he poured into you.
Yes.
It left you with a conviction to pour it into somebody
100%.
else. Yeah. 5 years
100%.
strong, man. 5
We
years
all
strong.
here to serve, and I love doing it. Again, I'm part of another group of men at Kings Accountability Group. We now have a youth version of that, Prince to Kings.
Come on, I love
Prince to Kings.
Yes.
And we've been blessed to get about a donation of about 300 suits last year. And we've been doing these events, giving suits away to these young men, showing them how to shake hands, look people in the eye, how to count change back. I mean, the little things that we don't think about.
Yes.
But, you know, we
But it
have
matters.
cash in our lives.
Yes.
They have debit cards and Cash App. So it's not an emotional transaction for them to buy something all the time. So just the little things, and it's important. And hopefully, you won't catch them all, but hopefully somebody will look back and like, man, I'm so glad Mr. Victor poured into me that information. Or look at me now, I got my suit on. And they walk in the room, and it's a whole different level of respect for themselves. Not to mention the people looking at them. So that's why it's important. We got to do that. We got to do that.
That's like I said, you are always doing great and wonderful things. Because even when we started Create Your Future Self live, the purpose of it was to give back and to be an encouragement and share tools and strategies with young investors, young real estate investors that we ourselves had to pay. Some good. We had
it cost me some grip to get to that knowledge, but if we can give that
being able to give back. So that's so important. We, you know, as leaders, we're called to serve.
For sure.
And what you're doing in service is definitely being a blessing. And I know, you know, you have that going on with the youth. You have another, you have tons of relationships and partnerships. across the country.
Yeah, yeah.
But that allows you to continue to serve on higher levels.
For sure.
And you're serving the Black community in a way now through one of the things that you're doing with empowering them with more information on home ownership. Give us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Well, I'll go straight to the statistics, right? 74% or so as of this recording, or as of the end of 2024, 74% of white families own real estate, own homes.
Yes.
About 60% of Asian families own real estate. Hispanics, about 52% own real estate. In the Black community nationally, we're at about 44%. You're somebody who can appreciate why real estate is important to have in your family.
Yes.
You know, I tell stories, we talked about it all the time. My grandmother, Pearlie Mae Anderson, may she rest in peace, in 1961 bought a house in San Francisco, California for $21,000. When she passed in 2017, that house was worth $928,000. And it had dropped from 2008 when it was $1.2 million.
Come on.
That's generational wealth. We hear that buzzword, generational wealth, but that house and the equity she built up took care of her 3 kids, all of their kids, which I was one of, and my grandkid, my daughter, and my granddaughter have benefited from what she made, the decision she made in 1961.
Yes.
So fast forward, I'm able to now go in and help people. Hey, look, get your credit together. This is what it takes to get a mortgage.
Yes.
This is what it takes to be able to buy that property. This is how you access the equity if you've inherited a property.
Yes.
How to get the airship stuff resolved. I bring in attorneys and help us out with these workshops. And I'm truly passionate about it. And I sleep very good at night because I know I'm giving back.
Yes.
And somebody listening is going to be able to make a difference. And they got to do the work. They got to address your challenges with your spending habits and put that extra money that you're spending on whatever towards getting your credit together. And go buy that house.
Yes.
Quit tripping. Go buy that house.
Get it. That is a foundational tool to having generational wealth.
Absolutely.
You know, we need the diversification. You know, get your stocks, get your mutual funds. You know, invest in your precious metals, whatever it is you do. Get your crypto, whatever. You know, flipping businesses, however you're choosing. Own your business, but real estate is king. Even if you're saying, okay, I'm an entrepreneur and I have a business and this is how I'm building generational wealth for my family through the money of the business.
That's one of the ways.
You can't do any of it without real estate. Even if it's all, you say, oh, it's all online. Where are you doing it from? Are you renting that place?
Right.
Do you own that place? You cannot do it without real estate.
Yeah. And
if you're renting it, that's great. If you're renting an office space, or if you're doing it from your home office and you're paying rent in your home office, it's still real estate. You're still paying for that. You cannot get away from the necessities of real estate. So if I'm going to do that, I need to own some of it.
Gotta own it.
Yeah.
You gotta own that. And listen, please, people, stop paying attention to what the news is telling you. Oh, the stock market and crash. Listen, Warren Buffett would be the first to tell you it's time to buy.
Yep.
This ain't the time to be tripping. Unless you are retiring tomorrow and you need to get that money out, that's going to hurt you because the market is dropping. But it always drops. It comes up.
It cycles.
So, and I tell people all the time here recently that my wife and I started buying some stocks in Southern Companies, which is a utility company back in the southeast part of the country. When we got married 15 years ago, we were buying, it was like $28 a share. The beginning of 2025, those shares were like $95 a share. And with the new regime coming in or whatever, they dropped a little bit to about $69 a share. But that just means I can buy more shares with my money.
I'm so glad you brought that in because I know I might be tap dancing in fire here a little bit, but I'm going to dance in it for just a second if I can. You know, our current administration, whatever you think about them, but if you look back historically, whether we're on a Democratic presidency and whether they're the majority in the House and the, Senate, whatever, or under Republican, those market dips and shifts. But the thing about the wealthy versus the rich versus the working class is how they view money and how they understand how these cycles work. When to buy, when to sell, when to hold on. because it's always going to be a better day.
For sure.
So
For sure.
no matter how I may personally feel about any administration, it's important that we learn how this stuff works so that you can win no matter who's in charge politically. So, I understand that the Lord is in control of it all.
For sure.
If he is allowing it, he's made a way of escape for us. He's given us the ability to obtain and maintain wealth. Then it's my responsibility, if he's given it to me, it's my responsibility to learn how to manage it. And that management is irregardless of who sits in any Oval Office. I don't care what nations around the globe are doing what. The wealthy understand that in a way that other people don't. And that's how they're able to continuously maintain their generational wealth.
For sure.
Absolutely.
You got to focus on your personal economy. Quit worrying about what's going on with the national and what the news is telling you, because, again, it's a distraction. And absolutely, there's some things that will offend us and things like that. But at the end of the day, will your grandkids be happy about the decisions you made today? That's what we're talking about with this create your future self. Is like create the future you. Create something that's going to be a legacy for your family so that they don't have to start from scratch all over again, or even worse, in debt, because you done left debt behind. Leave them some land, leave them some real estate, have some stocks or something, whatever you're going to do. Buy some coins, some gold, some silver, whatever, and start owning. Ownership is the key. And even with our speaker academy, I'm teaching young people and adults how to create a business around their talent so that they can pass something down to their kids, whether it's a business or whether it's real estate. You got to think ownership of your assets and your skill sets.
And skill sets, absolutely. Even as you were saying that, I'm thinking about the story, your grandmother purchased this property. I'm about to mess some stuff up. Cut that out. She purchased a property for $21K. How many different administrations? Come on, Republican, Democrat. Extreme redlining. Extreme systematic prejudice in banking and finance. But she made a decision. Whatever she did to get to that decision, she bought that property. It went from you said 1.2 to like 900K.
To 928,000.
You still winning. So and along the way, your generations learn how to access the capital that property was producing, and it is continuing to produce the fifth or sixth generation.
Absolutely. Like that was 1961. Don't let that get lost on you. She was a single black woman in 1961
in California.
Listen. And I'm sure she experienced tons of racism. She didn't let that stop her. And I didn't have the real estate acumen to ask her certain questions that I would ask her now before she passed. But I do know I went back and looked at what is the amortization on a $21,000 loan, even at 15% interest rate. Because everybody it ain't 3% no more. Back then, the interest rate was probably closer to 15, maybe even 18%. So she was paying about $265 a month, well, plus her insurance, whatever, maybe $300 a month. And she just kept paying them payments as a nurse and just did her thing. And she was probably experiencing all kind of racism, but she still did something that made a difference. So if she could do it, everybody out there, y'all can do it. But we got to stop focusing on the wrong things and have them family meetings. Stop shying your kids away from what's going on with your finances and bring them into it. Even when you're struggling, let them see what's happening.
Absolutely. Vic, that's why I like talking to you,
Let's go.
That's why I love talking to you. I know this is a quick pop-up. For create your future self live, right?
It's all family.
It is. This is a quick pop-up for Laquita's Toolbox Live. And, it's been a minute since I've been on live. And what better way to come into this new season? Full circle. Than with my boy, Victor Vonico Johnson.
Y'all got to follow, like, subscribe, share. This is content that she's bringing with tons of guests. I mean, all kinds of people. So y'all stick with Dr. Laquita Monley.
Absolutely. Look, season 6 of Laquita's Toolbox is absolute fire. Y'all do not want to miss any of season 6. So if you're not already subscribed, hit that like, follow, subscribe button on your favorite podcast listening platform. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure you click the notification bell so that you can receive notifications when we're coming live to you, and also when those audios are dropping every Tuesday morning at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. Keep watching the social media feed, and you'll find out when the new season 6 of Laquita's Toolbox is coming out. But look, Vic, we supposed to pop in and pop out.
I know.
But the conversation be good.
Yes.
Before we do close it out, though, let people know how they can connect with you.
For sure.
Because that Be the Victor Academy.
Yeah.
They got it. That's some secret sauce right there.
That's it. They'll Be the Victor Speaker Academy is live. We got the online courses. We got personal coaching. Even got a workbook for you. So if you are a speaker that wants to get paid, or a speaker that just needs to improve your delivery, come out with a bang, make an impact, influence, or maybe you're a business leader, I need y'all to follow me, BeTheVictor.us on all social, or you can stay right here. I think we streaming and connected on my YouTube channel, Create Your Future Self. And look, let's get that communication skill top notch. Come on.
That's all right. Look, appreciate you, Vic. Y'all be blessed. Until next time, I'm your host, Dr. Laquita Monley. Y'all take care.